Right, let's try something new. Because I can't be bothered to set things up downstairs. Now, let's see what's going on here. Right, so, a few things to talk about today. Firstly, let's get the beautiful summer we're having at the moment out of the way. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best summer for a very long time. Absolutely brilliant. Now people are going to be saying it's been raining all the time. No, it hasn't. We've had at least 3 weeks worth of hot weather and sunshine. So, but luckily they've been broken up with weeks of very nice cloudy weather, which means the house doesn't heat up. It's actually been quite cool on quite a few occasions, but you must resist putting the heating on, sir. No. Which brings me on to the next topic, which is emulation. Now I'm saying no to all of that, so yeah, joystick is important too. I'm actually using emulation at the moment. I suppose I could put the CRT effect on, really. Isn't that what everyone does with the SNES Mini, whatever. Yes, there we go. So we do this. It's an approximation. It's a horrible approximation, but I don't know. Personal choice whether you do that or the other. But yeah, see, I'm playing Manic Miner, which as some of you may or may not know, is one of my favourite C64 games of all time, and I've already shown some people why I think it's the best version of this game. Excuse me. And of course the lighter stops working. Almost. Now it has stopped working. Those were the last two lightings. Ah, what a bastard. I don't know where the other ones are now. Crap. That's better. This one isn't as loud. So I've played this quite a lot, and we're going to play it now, as most people play C64 games on Windevice using the keyboard. And I don't like the way the cursor keys are on this thing, but let's give it a go. I know this game very well from recent, probably 50 Manic Miner game playing sessions that I've had. So that's quite a lot actually. The annoying thing about the volume up button on Windows, it actually moves you. So here we go. There we go. Now I've got to about level 8 on this thing. No, I can't blame the keyboard for that. So yeah, emulation. First thing about emulation is, well, it's very convenient. I've just done it again. Why am I doing it again? Yeah, I am playing this on an enormous screen on the projector, by the way, which you'd think would help, but actually it doesn't. So I'm actually having to look at this at a slight angle, about 30 degrees. This is a tough one. This is, see, if you miss that one, you fuck. There is no way to actually get that one. So, almost having to learn how to play it again. Yeah, you can't move while you're jumping in mid-air, so yeah, that really is that one fuck. So this is a game that I test various joysticks with. I think it gives me a really fair idea of, I'm just trying to work out if I'd get away with this. Now, see? Alright, let's get back to this. So, yeah, hopefully you can only see the screen, unless the camera's moved again. It's a bit of a nightmare. Right, so what was I actually going to say about it? Right. Right, emulation is basically the difference, and I'm talking about emulation in this case specifically because WinVice and Vice in general is an excellent Commodore 64 emulator. Basically what it is, it's like watching Game of Thrones on a large LCD TV, or watching it on a fucking 8 foot, 7 foot high screen on a projector. I had to stop talking there for a second. This level is actually quite hard. Have to be quite accurate in a few places actually. So, nah. Maybe if it was a real keyboard like on an Amiga 2000, those kind of cursor keys. So yeah, that's basically what the difference is. Would you like to watch Game of Thrones on a large TV? Yeah, of course you would. If you like Game of Thrones, that is. It's better than watching it on a small TV, isn't it? Better than not watching it at all. But, you know, if you watch it on a projected screen, you really get the sense of scale that they were going for when they scouted out all those locations, and, you know, they filmed it in a very specific way. So you're losing some of the atmosphere, and it's the same thing with emulation. Now, graphics designed on things like the ZX Spectrum and the C64, those graphics were always done on a CRT screen, usually on a small CRT screen, and sometimes even with crappy RF output. That's what they were testing, what their graphics would look like when you were playing the game. So if you play it on an LCD TV today, they don't look right. You'll instantly think, ah, that looks shit. But it doesn't necessarily look shit when you play it on a 14-inch portable Sony TV using like the real output composite video of a C64 or RF input as I used to use. So that's one thing you're not going to get. And now we're talking about the best emulator, one of the highest quality emulators you can get for any platform. You know, it's like the magic engine of the C64 world for our American and Japanese viewers, not that they would come on this channel. But, you know, there is that difference, so it will look artificially more sheer. I think there is a pulls it. So there's that. Now then there's the issue of how you actually played them. See, if you play VCS games on anything other than the VCS joystick, you're going to do either better or worse. That's just how that is. They are designed to be played with that controller. That's how they were play tested. I mean, if you plug a zip stick into the Atari VCS, it's considered cheating, basically. And if you don't know what a zip stick is, you should look it up. It's an Amiga joystick, black, yellow square 5 buttons, micro switched, and same sort of micro switched actual joystick lever like the Competition Pro. Many games which I thought were hard turned out to be quite completable on the VCS using a zip stick. Done that already, so you know, that's another thing. So I play Manic Miner with a zip stick on a real C64. Now if I could find a decent USB adapter for the zip stick, I'd play it on Vice too. Probably on the projector though, because well, that's the closest thing to the kind of image you'd get on a CRT. Certainly closer than you'd get with plasma. It's still too sharp, even though the pixels are not square on a plasma TV. They're more irregular, as you would get on a CRT. So there's that basically, and that's probably the biggest thing. Now, if you have a really bad emulator, and you know, the Nintendo 64 doesn't emulate every game perfectly at all. That's like watching Game of Thrones on a fucking portable black and white TV, mate. And that's basically what it is. Now there is also things like the, you know, the NES 500 in one, 620 in one, you know, NES mini bootlegs with composite video output. And that's quite important because you want to play them on a real CRT, I think. I think you lose something by not playing these games on a CRT. They just look different. Now, if you don't mind, then yeah, it's alright. Then you can use the official NES Mini if you like. But there's still, you know, other stuff you can get. There's loads of hacks built in, and there's many more games. The NES Mini can store many games, and the SNES Mini can run NES games as well using that, you know, those hacks. But you know, off the shelf, those bootleg consoles with many games built in, like the Mega Drive 145 in one thing that I did. They actually stopped working. So I've only got the NES 620 in one now. The 500 in one doesn't work, and the Mega Drive one is acting like you're putting Duff batteries in there now, so it doesn't run your menu, which is what happens when the batteries get too low. So I don't know if, but then again I've tried 2 different sets of packets, so I doubt, you know, and then there's the exact same batteries that I used, you know, for weeks. So I don't know what's going on with that. But if you're going to get the NES bootleg mini to play on the CRT, make sure you get the 620 in one, not the 500 in one. Because the 620 in one, the joypads were identical to the NES joypads I have that are in mint condition. Because I hardly ever play the NES, and I bought the bloody things 15 years ago with the NES that I got. Because it was dirt cheap. It was hardly used then. Came in a box and everything, hardly used, mate. So, you know, I know what knackered NES pads are like, and these are not knackered at all. They're actually pretty good. So, you know, but it's a hell of a lot more reliable, convenient and cheaper to do it via emulation, because hardware just stops working. You know, one of my SX64s, the nicest one that I had, has now stopped reading discs completely, because I've been reading all these like slightly dusty, mouldy discs that I've had. You know, at the end of the day, you might just need a disk head cleaner, but they're not easy to find for 5¼ inch disk drives. Well, there's many ways of looking at it. I would never say to someone, don't play C64 games on Vice at all. No. Not every C64 game is an arcade game. Go and play The Hobbit, the disc version on Vice on the C64, because you'll be hard pressed to find a real copy that actually works. And that's just the best version of The Hobbit, because it's on disc. It has proper bitmap graphics. It doesn't draw them like you're doing it inside D-Paint using like Logo or something. I would say you need a nice controller to play Uridium, but that's true of Uridium on a real C64 as well. At the end of the day, if you played Uridium on a C64 with a knackered Atari VCS joysticks, which most of us had laying around, if you got an early C64, you probably had a VCS. So that's not going to be much fun. It's probably going to be a bit better than using, cursor keys on the keyboard, but there's that. So I think all in all, emulation definitely has its place, and if you actually want to rip graphics, you need emulation with built-in video capture with lossless video. How else are you going to nick them bloody sprites to doing some sort of homebrew game you make? I don't know what they used to do them. The Scooby-Doo thing that I did, there is no emulation of that, so there's no way to actually get them graphics at all, because it only does shitty composite video output anyway. So even if you buy a £200 capture device, you're still fucked. So yeah, so that's that one. And the other thing is actually the old licensed game business. Now, I believe Back to the Future was mentioned, but the first Back to the Future game, it is complex, but it's alright. It's of its time. There is a bit of a weird, simple quest there that you got to do. Might not make sense to you, but I think the first Back to the Future game, even though I don't personally like it, I don't think it's that bad. It is a little confusing. You do need someone to explain what you're supposed to do. But luckily you can find that on YouTube now. But back in the day, a group of friends would have had to work it out. But you have to remember, most of these were done to loading on tape for the C64. I mean, and if you want to know what that kind of game could be like, you just have to play Defender of the Crown on the C64, the disc version. It's amazing. That is still a C64. It's just as fun to play as it is on the Amiga. Well, the Atari ST, because the Amiga version is well known for being much simpler and very easy, actually. Not much more than a graphic demo, but the Atari ST version was actually really good. But you don't need a 68,000 running at 7 or 8 megahertz to do Defender of the Crown. Comes out absolutely beautiful on the C64. But the tape version is unplayable. If only the tape version existed, I would not be talking about that game. So there is that. But, you have to say, unimaginative official TV film conversions, they're also equally down to a lack of design talent and, you know, pixel art talent and musical talent, although there was always some good musicians available for the C64. Other formats may have had a problem there. But, you know, the programming wasn't really there. If you look at Cinemaware, my favourite Cinemaware game is going to be It Came From the Desert. You're probably going to think it's not that great graphically, but as a game, you really can get immersed in that game. Now what is missing is, obviously they could have used more than 3 discs, but really, you know, a hard disc would have been the best way to go for that. And, you know, doubling the number of discs from 3 to 6. But really, you know, the driving section, for example, in It Came From the Desert, when you're playing chicken, that's horrible. The programming on that is absolutely horrible, and so is the rest of it, because they're written in a high level language. So what you really want is, I don't know, take something like Technocop. The driving section, you want it to be, well, at least on the Amiga and the ST, written by Sean Southern, because he did Lotus 2 and they're bloody brilliant on both the ST and the Amiga. And the sideways section, you want someone like the people who did the, you know, the above ground level of Shadow of the Beast 1. And I used to say that back then as a kid. I'd say, you know, why can't they just do, you know, these licenses and just get the people who do that kind of thing the best to write that part of the game, like the driving section or whatever. So, you know, if you was on the motorbike or something and it was Street Hawk, you get the people who wrote fucking Super Cycle. He's not difficult. So that, yeah, there's a whole thing there, but, you know, Defender of the Crown, he's basically Ivanhoe, and Rocket Ranger is basically those kind of like Flash Gordon black and white things from the 50s or whatever, 60s that they used to rerun on TV when I was really young. Yeah, I think it was Flash Gordon, but you know, at the end of the day, Rocket Ranger is fine on the C64. He's no worse than the Amiga or the ST version. I just don't like the game that much. And, you know, I've already mentioned Defender of the Crown, but you needed a disc for that, and they needed to be really well programmed, actually. So, but no, Technocop is just rubbish on the Amiga, because the driving section is written by the same people who probably did something like Crazy Cars, and the sideways section is, yeah, the game engine looks suspiciously like bloody Rolling Thunder, which is rubbish on the Amiga. So rubbish people with rubbish ideas forcing the game design onto a tape loader, you're just fucked. So, but the actual technology wasn't a problem. A C64 and a disc drive, if the tape drive wasn't invented, I think, you know, maybe we'd have more Defender of the Crowns on the C64, which I believe is not bad on the Amstrad CPC either. I do recall there being a disc version for that, for the 6128, so they have extra memory to play with. But no, that's basically where I'd go with that. But yes, now for a bit of a surprise. Surprise! Yes, Manic Miner. On the VIC-20. Now I've only had like a quick go at this just to make sure it works and everything. Now the screen is infamously small on the VIC-20, so when you jump it's actually different now. So even if you know how to complete each level doesn't really matter because you have to do it slightly differently on the VIC-20 version. Now that's not the case. See that? How are you supposed to do that? So it's almost like playing Manic Miner again for the first time. So you can't do that on the C64 ZX Spectrum every other version. Now the ZX81 version is exactly the same layout as the ZX Spectrum version. It's just monochrome, that's all. And silent, but you see, you shouldn't be able to do that. But I'm not putting that as a negative on the game, because it's nice to have a nice version of Manic Miner on the VIC-20, even if you have to learn how to play it again. See, I might have to try and do that. So you've got to do it. See? You got to learn it all over again. The jump distance, when you got to jump, what you got to do. I haven't actually got off the first level of this yet. But I think this is brilliant. Now I want to play this on real hardware with a good quality joystick actually. I think that's really what you've got to do. And I'm still playing Manic Miner on a C64 with a zip stick, so and the only difference here is you will actually be able to go back and get that again. And of course, it would help if I jumped over the little thistles or whatever they are, nettle, poison something. So you have to jump a bit earlier. Yeah, see, if you're trying to complete Manic Miner as well at the same time, it's not going to work. But if you're not doing that, then you're good to go actually. Actually, that's a bit weird. I thought we were going to make it. No! I just want to see the second screen now. I'm curious to see how that layout goes. But this is great. Never mind everyone else's remakes. Just try this. If you've got a VIC-20, you have to somehow get it on there. I don't know if there's a tape file. I can't remember. I think it's just a PRG, but it might not be. I can't remember actually. Yeah, I just feel safer like having done that, so I don't have to fuck about. I'm still gonna fuck it up, I know I am. Music's not bad actually. See, this looks much closer. Oh man, if I had this and I had a VIC-20, I would have been really happy. The jump, which is the most important routine on this game. Hang on, that's not right. How do I get up there then? This way? Yeah, so the resolution on the VIC-20 is actually quite low, so you know, some things have to be redesigned. So I don't know the timing here, so I'm just going to go now. timing's not the same. Ah, crap. Wow. Yeah, because I've seen these. Ah, crap. See, it is like having to learn the entire game again. It's just like it is Manic Miner, but it has had to be redesigned for the big 20 resolution. So I've got no idea when is the time to go. Usually it's now, but that might not be the case. Ah, see, you have to learn everything again, right? I'm not playing this anymore after this. Because I'd rather enjoy playing it. You can still play the game without real hardware, but I really want to enjoy it. It's like you can have a shit doner kebab from the local chip shop around the corner from you, or you can actually travel somewhere and have the real thing that's as good as if you were in Istanbul, you know, sitting in a restaurant having your doner kebab. Ah, see, I'm glad I didn't do any more of that. Yeah, so that's really nice actually. And obviously I'm using emulation. Look at the shitty Windows mouse cursor there. But yeah, I do have something else I want to talk about. Bloody PS3. I've decided PS3 is going back in the fucking box. Why? Because not only is the DVD playback horrendous, the MPEG-2 conversion is horrible. It's like the most... Oh, there's so much noise and artifacting going on, and you don't get it on other DVD players, which is very annoying. But you know, you can kind of live with that because the PS2 RGB can't really be used to play DVDs on an LCD, and if you don't use that, you're pretty fucked. But we come on to Blu-rays. I thought I'd save a few projector lamp hours and watch the Blu-rays of Game of Thrones that I just bought. Admittedly only paid £6 for them in Kex, but they're in mint condition. And, you know, I've got a PS3, it's got HDMI, Xbox 360 can't play bloody Blu-rays, probably not even the Xbox One. So, but you know, Blu-rays are recorded at very high quality. I think it's 80 gigabytes per disc. But no, bloody encryption keys used by the fucking DRM digital rights management shit on Blu-rays means unless your PS3 is constantly connected to the internet, and you're going to have to do a system update if there is one available, to reactivate the keys that allow you to play the Blu-ray that you've bought, this physical disc, in the fucking player. Content denied. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I had to go and find out how you update it then. Luckily there is still an update. But you know, when Sony stops supporting the PS3, you won't be able to use it as a Blu-ray player, and you won't be able to use any Blu-ray player as a Blu-ray player, except possibly if you get a Blu-ray drive for a PC and you use software to do it, like, I don't know, VLC apparently does it in the latest version. So it's all pretty horrible. The PS3 is an ugly thing, chucks out loads of heat, certainly only useful in the winter. If you use a PS3 with a plasma TV in the winter, you don't need any fucking central heating. You're sorted there, mate. But, you know, I kind of like got around the DVD business by forcing it to upscale the shit MPEG-2 conversion. But now it's like, I don't know, just gonna stop playing bloody DVDs. and you know, not DVD, it's going to stop playing Blu-rays one day. So basically a PS3 is only useful for actually playing PS3 games, and considering it was so expensive because it was fabled to be like your media centre, you know, put your music on there, play your Blu-rays, your DVD, it's fucking shit, mate. I hate the fucking PS3 now. I'm so tempted to just put it back in the box and chuck it on the pile in my story. Screw you, Sony. Screw you and your shit digital rights management.